with Tim Smith, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce with Desert Valley's Live City Talk. I'm your host, Nick Wakely. Welcome to another episode. So you get your name badge.
Made it official.
All right, we're good to go. So tell me about yourself. What is the role of Executive Director in the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, that is two different questions. Tell me about yourself and what is the role. So I have lived in Ridgecrest for almost 5 years now. Came here on staff as the pastor at one of our local churches. And my wife is a school teacher in the district, and I have 2 kids. So who am I? I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I like pizza and burritos.
What's your favorite color?
Purple. No. Buddy the Elf. No, probably green. I like a lot of green. I like that British racing green on those old Mini Coopers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe an avocado green on a nice Vespa.
Nice bright green?
The avocado on the Vespas or on the scooters is still like a dull kind of army green kind of,
Okay.
But with the avocado, it's not like the avocado green on the appliances in the kitchens. It's not that. It's not that one. But anyway, so what's the executive director? My job is to help facilitate the goals of the chamber board of directors. So I am the hands and the feet that help get the tasks accomplished.
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
Just shy of 2 years.
Okay.
That I've been at the chamber here in Ridgecrest. Yeah.
You've been enjoying that?
Yeah. So before I was here at the chamber, and like I mentioned, I was a pastor, but as part of that role, I've in different times done different community development projects. And one of them that I was involved in was in Seattle, and we developed a community coffee house. So I have a stint where I ran a small business as part of the ministry, as part of the work of that church. And so when I came and interviewed for this position, I had experience leading a board, thinking strategically about how to move forward as an organization, as well as the small business perspective. So I think in that regard that it's been a good marriage so far.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got the experience because of small business.
Yeah. I know when I first came, several people were like, what? He's a pastor. What's he going to bring? Like, how can a pastor do this? But in all reality, churches are small businesses.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They operate with budgets. They operate with a board. So the chamber is about building community and strengthening the economy. It operates with a board. We are run by volunteers. So there's a lot of play and continuity between the two. So I think it's played well.
So for those of us that don't know exactly what a chamber does, I mean, is it a business itself, and does it have to like make money? What is its purpose?
So that's a great question. One of the things that we often get is that people associate the Chamber of Commerce with being a direct subsidiary of the city. So the Chamber of Commerce is a separate 501c3. We are not a 501c3. We are a separate 501c6.
Okay.
And so we are not directly affiliated with the city. We do work on a lot of projects with the city and community development and economic development, but we are not funded by any means at this time through the city. In history, the chamber has been, but at this time we're not. So the chamber is a 501c6, and that's a mutual benefit organization. And so we are funded primarily by our dues of our members. So a local business wants to have a community presence and joins with us. And so they benefit from the membership, from the networking, from knowing people. If you had a plumbing issue, you come to the chamber, you all of a sudden know a couple plumbers because they're involved in the chamber. You're going to the networking events, and you know who to contact when you have that issue. You have a business marketing issue. You've been to the luncheons, you've connected, and you've met Amanda, so you can go and reach out and ask her a question about marketing. So it's that kind of a network, but it's also provides opportunity for communication and navigating this season right now, especially in COVID when so much has changed.
Right. So would you say this is this for community people, or is this kind of an exclusive thing for business owners, or?
It is community oriented. It is not exclusive to business owners.
So an average person could come to a meeting and network the same way.
Yeah. So we do have some individual, we call them like associate memberships.
Okay.
so sometimes someone might retire out of a position that they've been involved with the chamber for a long time in their role at their business. But when they're no longer in that role, they still want to be a part of the community. They have friends, they have networks. They still want to be a part and hear what's going on at the chamber or in the city, so they still can participate. But typically, the chamber is a network of businesses, but it is not only for business, like for the owners. People send their staff. The CEOs can come, but they also send their managers. It just depends on the business.
And would you say that the chamber provides kind of a direct line to the city and what the small businesses are experiencing? Maybe they kind of to have their voice heard together to the city. Is that what?
Yeah, that's part of it for sure, because we're involved in conversations with the city on many levels, and so we have the capacity to speak on behalf of our members to the city, to the county, to the state. In all reality, we have that capacity. That advocacy is part of our DNA.
Okay. So noticed a not so little sign on the south end of town. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
I love that you just read that. Like that was your question. Yeah, we totally got a new sign. Okay, so the sign was installed like 15 years ago originally, back in 2006. And it operated for a long time. It was really good. It had a static sign on the top that said the Chamber of Commerce, and then underneath it just had one of those small ticker tape rolling electric signs that just scrolled.
Like told you the temperature or something?
Yeah, so it told temperature, and then you could share like events that were coming up and give like a phone number, but very, very simple, right? And the message that was available there. And over time, the weather, whatever, it came to disrepair, and the cost to repair it took a long time for us to be able to find a vendor that could help us renew that sign. So, it took like a long time, years, to find someone finally who would work with us.
Is that one of the people you've recruited to the chamber that helped?
Unfortunately not. The company that we use is Encore Image, and they're out of east side of LA, like along the 15 Rancho Cucamonga kind of area. Okay. So they do a lot in the Orange County and LA, but are able to move up. And the sign that we have is a watch fire sign, and it's that's a US made sign, and it's really a good quality sign. If you've been to Vegas, which I haven't been to this segment, but Fremont Square, Fremont something.
You said you're a minister?
Yes.
In Vegas?
No, I haven't been. I've been to Vegas, but I haven't been to this part of Vegas where there's this like big canopy over this in downtown Vegas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they put all these LED lights that make it feel like you're outside and all this stuff. So that same company that won that project is the one who we got our sign through. So we're pretty excited about just the quality, and we anticipate that it'll, hopefully our goal is that it won't fall into disrepair again, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We want it to be a resource. Part of what we do with that sign is 50% of it is for community messages. So events that take place in town, we can put those up there. What we're hoping to do is partner that with our ridgecrestevents.com, our website that we do for our community calendar, that we partner with the IWV Economic Development Corporation, as well as the RACVB, the Visitors Bureau. Together, our three organizations have tried to pool together to create a community calendar. So if it's not in the community calendar, in my opinion, it shouldn't be up on the sign. But our goal is to provide 50% of the messages that go up on that sign to be community messages. So if the city's having a movie night out at Freedom Park, that should go up there. If there's, an important vote, or if there's candidate council opportunities that they want to make the community aware of, that's exactly what that's for, just to kind of get the message out there. And then the other side is 50% for selling ads, and that selling of the ads, it helps offset the cost of the sign, right?
Sure, it's the maintenance and stuff.
If you haven't seen it, it's a big sign.
Yeah. So does it just play like a static graphic, or is it like videos too? Or
so our sign, what we're doing is on 6-second intervals. So basically, that was kind of the industry standard for how long an image should be up there. But we can do static, and we can do some simple video. If you've been by there, you might have seen there's one that has a guy riding his bicycle,
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of movement on it. So, and then I have another one that has the words bouncing like it's on old PowerPoint.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Fancy stuff.
Yeah. That one's, it's not that, that one doesn't do much. But then we have, what's hilarious to me is that when we put it up, one of the first things we got was make sure it has the time and temperature.
Right.
It's like, for real.
Priority number one.
Your car has that, right? Like your
Your
car
phone,
literally has,
watch.
yeah, put on the Weatherby app. But anyway,
It's hot.
It's very important. Very important to have the time and temperature. So we do have that capacity, and it is up there. So
Well, good. I'm glad we got the temperature on there. You got to know. Okay. So if somebody was interested, how would they get their information, like a small local business or something?
Yeah, good question. So they can contact our chamber office, and we can walk through, and we'll send them the rate sheet, the tiers for putting the paid advertisement. If it's a free advertisement, if it's one of the community messages that we want to share, we want to make sure that it's on our ridgecrestevents.com first. And there's a simple way to go on there to add your event and then just make us aware. Now, the difference is that the sign isn't your standard graphics that you would throw on social media, right?
Sure.
Because it's scaled differently, and the pixels are different. So you can't imagine throwing up what you might on Instagram and expect it to look the same up there on the sign.
Like 10 by 10 pixels is
Yeah.
not going to work on that sign, right?
Right.
So the chamber will guide the individual
Yeah.
on what to put up there.
Yeah, we haven't quite navigated how we do that with the free versions yet of the community messages, but we'll get there. Yeah, it just went up not last week. It went up 2 weeks ago.
And it's not full yet, right?
No, not yet.
All right, get in there, guys.
We don't have the time slots full yet, so it just went up.
Speaking of events, how was the Economic Outlook Conference for you guys?
This year was the first year. Well, I should say this year was the 34th year that we've done it. So 34 years, the chamber has been involved in this Economic Outlook Conference, and this year was good. It was different. There were definitely some hiccups, but what we heard is that perhaps the end user didn't have as great of an experience as what we would have hoped, but our product was far exceeded our goals. So I say that because when you're live streaming, sometimes the internet bogs down, especially when we have too many people jumping on at the
like
same
having
time.
riding a horse. Sometimes it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah. And so we had to fall under that pattern with the internet. So unfortunately, some of the people had a hard time watching the whole thing all the way through. Some of them got frustrated and bounced. But the good thing is that it was all recorded. And so we were able to share that with our members and with the community and make that available. So, but in all reality, I felt like it was potentially better than it was last year. I missed being in person. I think everybody there missed being in person. All the presenters, it's really hard to talk to a camera as opposed to a group of people. Like when you talk to a group of people, you can look right in the eye. Yep. When you talk to a camera, you have to remember, oh yeah, there's people over there. I need to be reminding myself where to look, and we're just not trained in that. We're not professionals in that. So I think there was a miss on that, and for sure the miss of the networking. Part of the EOC is just being able to connect and bump shoulders, right? To meet the new mayor if you hadn't already met him, right? To go and talk with them, or to meet the economist and then be able to schmooze. Mark Schneep's hilarious. Like he's super easy to talk to, and he's kind of funny. So to not have that in-person opportunity was a bummer. But we also incorporated some new things this year. We had a great presentation by the hospital, which the hospital doesn't always present, but they had a big chunk of time this year, and it was really, really good. And then the other thing that we brought in this year that was different was bringing in an entrepreneur panel. So we brought in 3 businesses here in town who have started or expanded what they're doing during COVID during this past year. So what a great testimony, or a great statement to say, in the midst of this, here's some optimism. Here's some things that went well. Here's some things that they have to keep looking for. But we had 3 businesses. We brought in the grocery outlet, which just opened 7 months ago, Flightline Taproom, which opened just right before COVID hit.
Yep.
And then the other one was Restoration Ministries, which is a nonprofit through Vineyard Church. That's doing they're doing a thrift store. They're doing a car wash, and they're doing a men's and working on a women's recovery services. So we brought in some brand new, like mom and pop little shop. We brought in a chain, and we brought in a nonprofit. So the chamber has all of those as part of who we are as an organization, right? We have businesses, small businesses, we have large businesses. Hospital was our presenting sponsor, but then we also have some nonprofits as well.
So in general, if you had to kind of sum up the atmosphere or kind of what you got out of the chamber meeting, what would you sum it up with? Was it a mostly positive end result? And
yeah, that's good. I would definitely say it was positive. I believe our economist gave some good optimistic outlooks, right? Like, yeah, it's been hard, but the trend is moving in this direction. Yeah, it's been hard, but what happened across the nation was way down here, and in Ridgecrest, it was up here for most of our industries. So that part was really interesting and encouraging, I think, for many of us to see. We may have felt the tension, we may have felt the struggle, but in some ways we did not feel it in the same capacities that they did in other parts of our country.
Sure. I saw the mayor's piece, and he talked about resiliency, and I thought that was a great message. And I feel like personally, being a resident in Inuit and dealings in Ridgecrest, that we have been resilient. And overall, the mood has dropped, with COVID, but we are resilient people, and it's been amazing to see everybody, strive forward.
Yeah. So you're based out of Inuit?
Yep. Living in Inuit. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Did you know that Inuit also has a chamber of commerce?
No, I didn't.
They're small.
I had no idea. Yep.
And I'm not even sure if they have fees for their membership, but if you're there, you should join them and participate with us as well. But just throwing that out.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll try to get you that contact for the Inuit because we're trying to work with them a little bit too. We reached out, especially after the earthquakes, and but with everything, with COVID and everything is kind of just tightened in. So we haven't been doing as much in person, and so some of those contacts have.
Yeah, it's hard to reach out. It's hard to maneuver. It's hard to adapt, but
right.
You guys are getting it done, and that's awesome. So what other types of events are held by the chamber besides the Economic Outlook Conference?
Well, usually when we have things in person, we have all sorts of gatherings. We have monthly gatherings and then like a few annual gatherings. So specifically like the EOC happens once a year in February. Typically we have what's called the Star Follies.
Okay.
And that takes place in April. But due to COVID, we didn't have one in 2020, and it's looking like we're postponing at least till October for 2021 for the Follies. It's kind of hard to navigate how to do a show like that,
right?
Virtually. So we're just trying to understand that, and we have a committee that's looking at that. But regularly, we would have a chamber luncheon that meets every month on a second Tuesday. We moved those virtually back in July. So we're doing those every month. This month, and next week, actually, on Tuesday, we have Dave Ostash from the school district. He's going to talk about their transition as at the school district back into what their plan is for moving the kids back into in-person and how they're navigating all the COVID requirements and expectations.
That'd be a great thing to tune into. I know he's had a tough job navigating that with, kids
right.
and parents. Sometimes there's
got
tempers
kids that we want them to be in class. We got parents who are irritated, and we have teachers who are like, wait a minute, what's going on?
What am I even doing?
So, and I've got I'm a parent, I've got kids, and I got my wife as a teacher. So I feel all those tensions at our house for sure.
I bet that's fun.
It's a little awkward at times, but it's all right. We're moving. My kids are actually doing really well during the COVID stay-at-home distance learning. They're doing really well. I'm impressed, but I know that's not the case for everybody. So
right, and we want them to have that social interaction and stuff. And it's
absolutely.
I've got kids myself, and I've literally had to call and beg people like, hey, I know COVID stuff, but can your kid come out and play?
Right?
It's weird.
My kids are my son particularly. He's just bummed he can't play ball. Like he wants to go and shoot hoops and play with other people. Shooting hoops by yourself is not the same, right? It's fun to run with some buddies. So hopefully we'll be able to get back soon. That's a goal, right? So some of the other things I wrote them down. I wrote like Leadership Ridgecrest. That's a program that we did for 2 years, and then the earthquake hit, and we haven't been able to bring that back online yet. But that's a great program. That's a 9-month leadership, engage with the community, meet many of the shakers and movers in our city, from the bigger organizations, and understanding how they function, from the city to the base to the hospital, different aspects of the nonprofit. So it's a great program.
Who is that for, by the way?
That's for kind of the new leaders. So if I'll just pick on the hospital, because that's low hanging fruit, right?
Sure.
So if the hospital is seeing someone in their organization that's moving up or potentially moving up, that they want to get engaged in the city level in different ways, they could send them to Leadership Ridgecrest, and they could that individual would then learn, make all these connections and learn some of the intricacies that are Ridgecrest, right? Because Ridgecrest is very different than it is in other cities and in other communities because of the way our isolation and the way that we work together. So it provides opportunity to really grow. But it's also for the new entrepreneur who wants to get his foot in and wants to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'd say, I came from Indianapolis, and I've been in different cities, and there's nothing like that type of program out there that I've seen, where you can almost instantly get introduced to the who's who and the what's what.
Right.
And you're just kind of like a lost dog trying to, start your business or whatever it is you're doing, and
Right.
There's no entryway, and you get the gatekeepers, and you're trying to walk in the doors, and nobody's got time for you. That eliminates this, and that sounds like an amazing program.
Yeah, so it's hopefully it has those pieces where you're able to get to know the mayor, and there's intimate networking. There's mentorship that can take place through that. So there's a lot of good that can come through Leadership Ridgecrest, but due to COVID, due to the earthquake and the shift in our culture here in Ridgecrest, that's kind of been put on the back burner for a little bit as we allow our businesses a little bit of time to recover.
Sure. So what else you got for us?
Usually during the regular months, we would also do a monthly business after hours. So we would feature or highlight a specific business in town, and just go and have like a once they close, just have a handful of the local businesses come and network. It's an opportunity for maybe those that can't make it to the luncheons to connect and get to know. And it's also super casual. So those usually take place, after hours, right? So it's been so long. It's like 5:30, 6 that they start. 5, I don't remember. I'm going to look over Amanda. She doesn't remember either.
So any idea of when you might bring those back, or is that kind of just it's an unknown right now?
That's based on COVID right now, yeah. Right now it's just at the chamber level, we've really pulled back and aren't doing any in person. We're not doing even our ribbon cuttings until we get into a lower tier. Okay. So going out in front and cutting a ribbon in front of a business, even though it's outside, we just felt like it can wait. It's not pressing to put anybody at risk. So yeah, that's the business after hours. Those are a good time to connect. And then the other one that was instituted actually before I got here, which I like, even though I don't drink coffee, we do a coffee club. So once a month, those that can't come to the luncheon or those who can't make it to the business after hours, there's a time once a month in the morning to connect, and we just meet at the chamber office, and just a super casual, come stay as long as you want.
So do you make it to all these events? That seems like a lot.
I don't make them to all of them. I make every luncheon. I have not made it to a Follies because since I've been in the position, they have not happened. And Leadership Ridgecrest hasn't happened since I've been in. But that one I would have been a part of. And the coffee club, it happens at the office, so I definitely do that one. But I didn't hit all the business after hours. I would hit like every other or so, because it is a lot. And I still have to balance my work and home life.
Right. But there's plenty of opportunity for someone that wants to get involved to be involved, right?
And that's the beauty of the chamber, right? Like, I don't have to do everything. I just have to help facilitate the avenues, right? So we have volunteers, we have the ambassadors, we have young professionals, we have a board, we have a group of people who volunteer. We have several committees, political action committee, we have a scholarship committee. I can't even roll through all of them. But we have volunteers, so if something doesn't happen, it doesn't fall on me. It's a response to the whole chamber. If it's something that we really want to see press forward, then we have to have the volunteers and the manpower to see it through.
Okay,
I'm just kind of the engine that helps them.
Right, and then the team kind of takes over.
Yeah.
So
that's the theory, right? That's how it's supposed to roll.
Right. So are you getting most of the phone calls that we're trying to hint at?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot. We're getting a lot of phone calls right now. Especially after COVID, or not COVID, after the EOC. We got a lot to do. Moving it from in person to online created a lot more prep beforehand. That really is one person sitting in front of the computer. So I ended up doing a lot of that. But
well, thank you for that.
Yeah. So, but overall, that's the beauty of the chamber, right? It's supposed to be this network. It's supposed to be the mutual benefit. It's supposed to be us working together for a common goal. And when I look at our mission, it's about building community and strengthening the economy. And it's not one person that does that by any means. And in all reality, it's not even me who should be here. Even though I do a lot of the behind the scenes, I do a lot of the work. I'm in some ways become the face, but really it's about the board. It's about the members. And so our board chairman should really be the one who should be getting these accolades, having the opportunity to speak on the chamber. But our board chairman is a busy small business owner. So it's hard for him to carve out a half-hour time to come over and talk. But
that's what the team's for.
That's why I get to come do it.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. But thanks for showing up today, and we appreciate it. So one of the last questions is again, if someone wanted to get involved, how would they do that?
Well, there's lots of ways. Right now, that it'd be about contacting the chamber office and connecting. So many of our groups are on hold right now due to COVID. We don't have our ambassadors. They're meeting only once a month, but usually the ambassadors are a group of business professionals who go around and welcome new businesses to town, who invite them and encourage them and get to know them and support them. So the ambassadors is one great group that has the opportunity to connect and be a part of. And then another would be the young professionals. Again, it's kind of been on hold during this COVID time, but it's just another way to connect and meet other people that are in a similar time in their lives to connect and have encouragement and support. So,
and where can people follow you guys and kind of just get updates on what you guys are doing?
Yeah, we have a website that has everything. If you want to catch our EOC video, that's on our web page, and that's ridgecrestchamber.com, and then you can just do /EOC. And on there's a link for that video. And then there's also a link for a PDF. I should have talked about this earlier with the EOC, but there's a PDF that our economists developed.
Okay.
And it's 38 pages of in-depth review of the economy in Ridgecrest. So encourage everybody to take a look at that. That's a great resource. Then also the chamber, we post to our social media sites, which are predominantly Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay. No TikTok?
No.
Not yet?
No.
We'll work on that, right?
No.
Just kidding.
If one of our volunteers really wants that, we can put that together. But awesome. I'm not going to shake hands with you and then switch seats with you right now.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Tim. Thanks so much for being here with us. And
thanks for inviting me.
us. Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
All right, guys. Have a good night.